Today's movie is a special request from Patreon supporter John Cleveland, who asked me to review the movie Rawhead Rex. And this is one that I've been meaning to get to for a while now, because it's an example of a movie that had the potential to be good, but things just didn't turn out that way. 1987 was a good year for British horror writer Clive Barker. Previously known for writing short stories and novels, he made his directorial debut with the movie Hellraiser, which went on to be considered a horror classic and had no less than Stephen King saying, "I've seen the future of horror fiction, and his name is Clive Barker." But the year before that, Clive Barker was involved with another movie, and this one did not have him being hailed as the future of horror. Rawhead Rex is a 1986 British horror movie based off of Clive Barker's short story of the same name. Barker didn't direct this one, instead just writing the screenplay, with directing duties being handled by George Pavlou, who previously directed another movie written by Clive Barker called Transmutations. And Clive Barker reportedly hated both movies. In fact, the main reason he decided to direct Hellraiser himself was because he was tired of other people fucking up his work. Alright, well that's one thing we can thank this movie for. Without it, we might not have Hellraiser. That's something. Well, this isn't a good sign. It seems to be produced by Charlie's mascot character from It's Always Sunny. And it also stars David Duke? Oh wait, there's an S on the end. For a second there, I was worried this was going to be a horror movie version of Birth of a Nation. The movie does, however, star the finalists of the Most Irish Name Ever contest. The beautiful Irish countryside, where farmers are busy planting monoliths to sacrifice virgins to in order to ensure a good harvest. Almost as effective as using a wicker man. I joke, but I seriously think something weird is going on in this place. Just look at this stained glass window. What, did Rob Zombie make this church? And get a load of this hymn they're singing. You know, if church really was like that, I might actually go. Fun fact, even Irish Roger Ebert here gave this movie a thumbs down. So anyway, our main character is Howard Hallenbeck, an American historian and wool sweater enthusiast who's in Ireland with his family doing research on pagan religious sites for a book. I can see why he came here. After all, it is the sunniest place in Ireland. Oh, and the farmers I mentioned earlier are actually trying to dig up the monolith, presumably so they can boil it and serve it with some mutton. Desecrating an ancient artifact? Well, I see nothing going wrong here. Okay, lady, when you go to a church with this in the window, expect some evil shit to happen. And the movie doesn't waste any time getting to the title monster, cause there he is. Slow burns are for suckers. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a poster image. Although again, I'm not sure if a church was the best place to put it.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm looking for a Reverend Coot. Am I saying that right? Coot?
It's pronounced Contia Coot. This is Verger Declan O'Brien, because calling him Father O'Malley would have been too obvious. O'Brien tells Howard where to find Reverend Coot, although I'm not sure if I'd take directions from this guy. And what did you learn? Oh shit, I think this guy might be having a Nom flashback. Well, that does it. No more magic mushrooms on me breakfast potato. Howard asks Reverend Coot about the church to try and find out if it was built on pagan worship sites, and we also learned that every building in this town is creepy.
Where are you staying?
At, your pub.
The Tall Man.
The Tall Man.
Okay, Howard, bit of advice. Stay away from any place called the Tall Man. And I don't think Howard's family likes staying here either.
I will. I'll go bananas.
You know, this is a working trip for me, remember?
You know, you also got a family.
That's who those kids belong to. I was wondering.
Well, joke's on you. Your wife fucked the milkman while you were away doing research for your previous book. Actually, I don't think they're either one of your kids, since you're both American and they're somehow Irish.
Shut up! Come on, get it. Just get it! I want my phone! Well, you're not getting it! Then can we go home? I'm bored.
Father, when are we gonna go back home to San Francisco? It's where I was born and raised, boyo. Geez, if this town were any more rustic, it'd just be one giant sheep barn. Well, we need some opening victims, and since we're in Ireland, instead of some sexy teens, I guess we'll just have to settle for these two.
Who's there?
Oi, I don't need this shite. I've got 2 days to retirement, I'm not a virgin, and I'm black Irish, dammit! Rawhead may not look like your typical slasher movie villain, but he definitely teleports like one. Well, at least we finally get a good look at Rawhead, and... Okay, seriously? And now we see one of the main problems with this movie, namely the fact that its title monster is kinda goofy looking. I mean, the way he's drawn on the Blu-ray cover, Rawhead actually looks pretty badass, but in the movie, he looks like a cross-eyed combination of the Incredible Hulk and Batboy. Rawhead's design was supposedly the thing Clive Barker was most disappointed with in the movie, since in his original short story, Rawhead's described as a 9-foot-tall dick with teeth. Okay, I can kinda see why they didn't go with that look. Although if you do want to see a movie with a giant penis with teeth, just watch The Deadly Spawn. Great, not only is Rawhead a murderer, but he's also a messy house guest. Here's Tiernan. O'Brien also appears to have some connection with Rawhead. Either that or he fried his brain looking at a laser during a U2 concert. So, how are these two enjoying their trip?
Why do we have to come here in the monsoon season?
Excuse me, but in Ireland that's called summer? At least the weather seems to be putting her in the mood. All the eroticism of watching 2 raw pieces of dough being smushed together. And here's a surprise, Rawhead didn't kill that lady earlier.
What happened here?
Now you may think she acted that way because she's also under Rawhead's influence. Nope, she's just really bad at explaining shit. Hopefully these extras from an Irish film noir can solve this murder.
We're looking for several individuals to have caused this kind of damage.
Nope, just one very questionable monster design. Looks like these two are still feeling frisky. I'll bet when Howard has sex, he leaves his sweater on.
You know, you were talking in your sleep.
Was I?
Who the hell is Big Jake?
He's the real father of my children. And let me tell you, Big Jake ain't an ironic name. No, Rawhead, what are you doing? Don't go to a trailer park. Now you'll have to fight a bunch of drunken Irish travelers. Or maybe just this douchebag.
Hey, listen, why don't you watch the film, huh?
Seen it?
You're a selfish little brat. You'll be sorry for this. I'm gonna get you back, dickhead.
You and whose army?
You little pig.
Well, I'm sure that guy's definitely gonna live. Maybe he can try getting some action on the moors.
Did you hear that?
No.
Now come on, kiss me, I'm Irish. Bad joke, but you get it. And come on, mullet boy, don't go interrupting Rex when he's eating his dinner. He just got new LEDs installed in his eyes. Even when he's not around, Rex still ends up cock-blocking this guy. He was also hoping to get some Rawhead tonight.
Shit.
Don't you mean shite? I can't tell if these two are running because they just saw a dead body or they're worried the trees from Evil Dead are after him. To add insult to injury, not only does Rawhead prevent this guy from getting laid, he also takes his right hand. Now he can't even jerk off later. You know, as disgusting as this all is, it's still more appetizing than most Irish cuisine. Well, considering what's going on, I think you all know what I need to do here. Okay, that's not the sound effect I wanted, but whatever.
How long's he been dead?
I'd estimate under 24 hours.
With everyone's pasty complexion around here, it's hard to tell how long they've been dead. Because Howard saw Rawhead doing his Clash of the Titans impression the previous night, he decides to report this to Chief O'Hara.
Inspector Gissing.
Whatever, close enough. Needless to say, the police don't buy Howard's story of seeing a googly-eyed Mohawk caveman. Maybe they'd believe him if he said he saw a 9-foot penis with teeth. I guess he'll have to try and find some answers at the church.
Death walks, fearing what?
Death goes in fear of what it cannot be.
I am the Astro Creep, a demolition-style hell American freak. Yeah, hey, Rob Zombie did make this church! And Verger O'Brien's no help either.
What do you do that for?
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, to be fair to O'Brien, that is how they say goodbye in Ireland. Meanwhile, the police get a breakthrough when they receive this concept art for Rawhead. Howard also wisely decides to get the hell out of town, and not a moment too soon. See, I told you this place uses wicker men for their crops. Oh, and considering there's a killer monster on the loose, I don't know if sending your kid off alone for a pee break is a great idea there, Howard. Relax, it's just a fake-out scare. If they were in America, it would have been a cat and not a rabbit. Instead, the real scare is reserved for Howard's son. Rawhead want comic book. Rawhead no read that issue yet. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you never leave your kids unattended in a car. You know, 'cause of the pagan Irish demon monsters. Despite all the murders, the police are reluctant to make a statement to the press. They need to figure out if Rawhead's working for the IRA first. Needless to say, Howard is not happy with the police's handling of this case.
Look, Mr. Hallenbeck, we understand how you feel.
You have no idea how I feel. Your goddamn stupidity is the reason my son is dead.
You're the one who left him alone in a car when you knew there was a monster around. Looks like it's up to Howard to get to the bottom of things.
This window.
Useless to fight.
What does it represent?
The birth of Jesus, duh! Howard figures out that Rawhead is an ancient pagan demon and that long ago someone was able to defeat him using a mystical artifact and keep him sealed away. Unfortunately for the townsfolk, whoever defeated him forgot to put a Do Not Disturb sign on his tomb. Not that that would have helped these people very much. Damn it, when are you gonna learn not to put your hand on a hot altar? I see Rawhead decided to go back to the trailer park. I think he's really just pissed off these people didn't invite him in for a beer. Quick, save the women in bottles of Jameson! My god, it's a lot goofier than they probably intended. If Rawhead keeps causing trouble like this, they're gonna have to bring in Brad Pitt from Snatch to fight him. And it wouldn't be an 80s horror movie without some gratuitous tits. I'm glad they waited until now instead of showing this ladies. Hey, the cops are here. Yeah, it's true Rawhead got a little rowdy there, officers, but he put up a good fight. No need to arrest him, he's a good cunt. Alright, I know I've already said this, but if you're trying to make a terrifying monster for your movie, it's probably not a good idea to make it seem like he's staring at his own nose. Back at the church, O'Brien really wants to show how devoted he is to Rawhead, and if he doesn't accept him, maybe Pumpkinhead will. Oh, and in case you're wondering just how devoted he is... Ugh. See what happens when you don't let members of the church get married? They get into some real freaky shit. Hey, if you want to watch, that's gonna cost you $20, Reverend. Hopefully Reverend Coot will be safe down in the church's wine cellar. And damn it, Rawhead, do you have to be so messy? You wrecked the Reverend's painting of Kenny Loggins.
There's no escape. He wants you, you know. Wants to baptize you.
Yeah, baptize you. And when you get confirmed, Rawhead shits on your chest.
He was here before Christ, before civilization. Rawhead. That's what they called him. Rawhead!
They decided to go with the name Rawhead Rex after their first choice of Fuckface McGillicuddy. I think the real reason Rawhead is so messy is because the actor clearly can't see out of that costume.
This is holy ground.
That shit doesn't work on me. I'm Jewish, motherfucker. Thank God the police are finally here.
Come and shoot the bastard, son. We may hit the old man.
I'm pretty sure he's already dead.
No, he's still moving.
Okay, fine. Don't shoot him then. Unfortunately for the police, the inspector's also under Rawhead's influence now and sets their cars on fire. Not really surprising, this guy does look like someone who'd enjoy getting peed on. However, Rawhead doesn't put him out. Oh hey, what do you know, the priest really is still alive, and oh, no wait, he's dead now. Before he dies though, he tells Howard the key to defeating Rawhead lies in the church's altar. Damn it, Howard, don't you know the first rule of opening ancient religious artifacts?
Don't look right! Keep your eyes shut!
And wait a second, the thing Rawhead's afraid of is a fossilized dinosaur turd? Alright, well, figures a ridiculous monster would have a ridiculous weakness. Let's hope Howard knows how to use this thing. Nope, he sure doesn't. Oh, and do you want to know how Rawhead does get defeated? Howard's wife comes by and picks up the artifact, and then this happens. Yeah, sure. This makes perfect sense to me.
A woman. It had to be a woman.
Oh, great. Now there's going to be a bunch of op-eds and blog posts written about this movie. This would have been a lot more meaningful if they really had made Rawhead a giant penis, but I guess an Irish version of the ending to The Manitou works too. No, it can't be! There were so many more people I wanted to pee on! And so Rawhead is defeated, and Howard went on to write a best-selling book about this experience where he didn't give his wife credit. That's what she gets for sleeping with Big Jake. Wait a second. Didn't they have to put a big stone over Rawhead to keep him down last time? Well, they should have known. Even if you defeat a monster, they can always be brought back by a cliché final scare. Like I mentioned at the beginning, despite writing the screenplay, Clive Barker hated the final movie and later disowned it, and some people even consider it one of the worst horror movies of all time, to which I say, really? One of the worst ever? I'm gonna push back on that a little bit, fellas. Now having said that, it's pretty easy to see why Barker isn't a fan of this movie, since it has almost none of the macabre atmosphere he's known for, and a monster that's goofy rather than scary. Okay, so it's not objectively good, but is it at least entertaining in a B-movie kind of way? Kinda. It's at least not slow-moving, getting to the monster and killing pretty quick, but it also never gets that crazy or unintentionally funny either. It's one of those movies that falls into the trap of taking itself too seriously to be funny, but it's also too silly to be taken seriously. Schlock aficionados may get a kick out of this one, but for people looking to introduce themselves to Clive Barker's work, there's much better places to start with than here. But if there's one positive thing I can say about this movie, it's this. It's still better than some of the bullshit Hellraiser sequels. Well, that's all for now. Until next time.
Oh, in the meantime, can I get you a cup of tea?
Why'd you go fuck yourself?